Hey everyone, and welcome to this brand new explainer. Today we're taking something incredibly familiar, something you've probably stared at hundreds of times while just waiting for a web page to load, and we're putting it right under a microscope. We're going to do a slow-motion deconstruction of that fleeting security screen you hit right before entering Asia Research News. You know the one, right? It says, just a moment, hangs around for a second or two, and then completely vanishes. But there's actually an entire, absolutely rigorous world of security happening in that literal blink of an eye, and we're going to break the whole shebang down together. Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap for today. We'll kick things off with the digital waiting room. Then we'll look at stopping malicious bots, walk through the verification process, check out why cookies and JavaScript are required, and finally, we'll decode your unique Ray ID. All right, Section 1, the digital waiting room.
Imagine you walk up to what feels like the front door of a really exclusive club, or maybe a highly secure research library. You're fully expecting it to swing wide open. But suddenly, a digital bouncer puts up a hand and tells you, just a moment. It's polite, sure, but it is entirely non-negotiable. You can't scroll past it, you can't click around it. You're basically held in this liminal space, completely at the mercy of this pause, until the system decides you're allowed to proceed.
Because right there, our intended destination, Asia Research News, is being held just out of reach. We knocked on the door by typing in the URL, but we have to clear this exact checkpoint before the actual content is finally revealed to us. Let's move on to Section 2, stopping malicious bots. So you might be wondering, why is this pause even necessary? When our path is suddenly blocked like that, what dangers are actually lurking out there on the internet that require such a strict, immediate defense mechanism? I mean, it's not human error they're worried about. The answer? Malicious bots. These are very specific automated threats that the security service is actively hunting for. The system isn't just randomly slowing down your internet to test your patience. It's a highly targeted defense mechanism. It's built strictly to repel malicious entities that are out there constantly scouring the web for vulnerabilities. So the system defaults to a totally defensive posture from the jump. It actively verifies that you are not a bot. Basically, the burden of proof is placed entirely on your browser to demonstrate that a benign, human process is attempting to access their content, rather than some malicious script running in the background. Which brings us to Section 3, the verification process. And this brilliantly illustrates the timeline. While we just sit there staring at a loading screen, a precise three-step dance is happening entirely behind the scenes. First, it performs the active security verification. Second, a successful verification judgment is made. And finally, the security service waits for the main website to actually respond and open its doors. Let's just pause on that second step for a second, because it truly is the climax of this whole interaction. Verification successful. It's this dramatic little moment where the system declares victory and signals that you've passed the initial security test. The digital bouncer drops their hand, steps aside, and clears you for entry. It's a tiny, totally uncelebrated moment of triumph in your daily browsing. Okay. On to Section 4, cookies and JavaScript required. So what exact technical credentials are required to continue? Passing the bot check was Phase 1, right? But Phase 2 requires your browser to hand over a specific digital ID to complete the transaction. What exactly are they asking for? Well, you absolutely must have JavaScript and cookies enabled. These are mandatory, technical elements. Without them, the transaction stops cold, and those digital doors stay firmly locked. It is the absolute non-negotiable condition for moving forward. If you don't have them turned on, you simply aren't getting in. And finally, Section 5, your unique Ray ID. Now, it's really important to recognize who is actually running the show here. This entire rigorous checkpoint process, the waiting room, the bot verification, all those technical checks, it's completely overseen by Cloudflare Privacy. They act as the invisible protective shield for the site. And as part of that exact process, you are assigned a Ray ID. Think of it like a unique digital fingerprint stamped onto your specific session right at the very end of the process. It acts as mathematical proof of exactly when and how you passed through that checkpoint. Now, what's really interesting about this is that out of all the millions of internet connections happening right now, this specific complex alphanumeric string, a 01A6F548CAEAD0, was handed exclusively to us. It's our literal digital receipt, a totally unique marker of our successful verification. So, that brings us to the end of our deep dive today. But let me leave you with this to chew on.
Next time you see a just a moment screen, will you recognize the complex security verification happening right before your eyes? Will you ever look at a mundane 5-second waiting room the exact same way again? It's really not just a blank screen. It's an active, dynamic security checkpoint protecting the modern web. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer today, and hey, keep questioning the digital world around you.